Hey loves, welcome back to Day Spills Tea. I, of course, am the lovely Day. Last night we got episode 3 of the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion for season 6. And I think I called it last week and said this one was going to be boring. And it was. Despite the fact that the husbands were there, it was still boring. We need Michael to start showing up to these reunions so it could be some heat. Anyways, before I jump into my full review, go ahead and do all the, you know what your job is. Now, I do the review and then you're supposed to like it, comment, subscribe, all of that kind of stuff. If you have already subscribed, thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. Now, go ahead and jump into it. So we pick back up where Wendy is still going all in about Giselle had a tummy tuck and did it keep Jamal and so on and so forth. And the question is asked why she was going so hard on Giselle and Robin and not Ashley. And I can appreciate that Wendy was like she wanted to go directly to the source. So Robin chimes in and Robin is saying that Wendy was coming at her all hard when she didn't even know what the rumor was. I call BS. And I know Robin says she doesn't lie, but Robin, you a lie. You knew what the rumor was. So the reason she gave for not knowing what the rumor was because the site wasn't credible. I mean, that's what rumors are about, is sometimes they come from credible sources, sometimes they don't, but it still be a rumor and you got to kind of flesh out whether or not it's true. Saying that we know the site wasn't credible doesn't mean that you don't know what rumor she's talking about. And if you thought that it was a new rumor, then you would have said, because I know we're not talking about such and such, but no, you just kept playing dumb talking about what they say about Eddie. Oh, girl, whatever. Nobody believes you. Anyways, so Wendy done pulled out this giant, larger than life-size text message cardboard printout of the conversation. And it shows, obviously, that Robin knew what the rumor was about. And Andy is obviously team Green Eye Bandits because he's telling Giselle, like, you know, I don't think that's the evidence that you needed. And as far as I'm concerned, yes, it does show that Robin knew what the rumor was. Robin hasn't given us any reason to believe that she didn't think they were talking about the same rumor. Period. But whatever, Andy is always going to side with Robin and Giselle. Like, we already know that much. Anyway, so then Wendy directs her focus back at Giselle. And she's saying that, Giselle is saying that Wendy wasn't all that mad at her before the show and everything. And like they talked about it. So Wendy then pulled out these call logs, honey. And she's talking about, because my husband was an attorney, I pulled out these call logs and all of this and everything. And she's like, I called you and we spoke for 1 minute. And Andy is not impressed. Once again, he is not impressed. And what he said was, we went from a binder to this loose leaf. Like, you got to step your game up. The loose leaf paper and those little raggedy little receipts is not going to work anymore because Mrs. Monique Samuels has already set the tone that we need to have full-on production, okay? It needs to be a binder. It needs to be tight. It needs to be neat. It needs to be organized. There need to be tabs and all of that. You can't pull out this manila folder with this loose leaf paper. It's not acceptable. Step your game up. Anyways, Robin says that she paid her taxes off and that she paid for the down payment on her home and all of that with her hat money. Kudos, congrats to her. I think that's wonderful. I still wasn't really clear on why it wouldn't have been profitable to be inside Macy's or TJ Maxx. Like, I feel like if you have a larger scale audience and you're having them invoice you for, you know, bulk orders, then you would increase your distribution. That would generally allow you to cut the manufacturing costs and increase your profit margins. But I am absolutely not an entrepreneur, so I probably don't know what I'm talking about. Once again, congrats, Robin. That's great that you were able to pay off your taxes and all of that good stuff. So Andy asks if anybody thinks that Robin and Juan are getting married next year, and nobody raises their hands. And then Giselle raises her hand. And, you know, it's none of us really expect for them to get married. But then they start joking about the fact that Michael is constantly saying it like he knows for a fact that they're not getting married. And Ashley tried to play it off with this BS excuse she gave for why Michael is saying that. And Giselle is honest. She's like, no, Michael wants Juan for himself. Michael wants to drag Juan off on his own. And we all know that this is the truth. We all see the way that he looks at him, and this is more than a bromance. Like, this is absolutely more than a bromance. And I think when it might have been after Nicki Minaj came out, when the question was asked, do we think that Michael is attracted to Juan, like, sexually? And everybody's like, yes. Like, this is, he don't want to be his friend. Anyways, and then I did find it real shady and curious and funny that Juan and Michael are the only ones who are not there. But I do respect and understand Robin's reason for why Juan is not around, because I have definitely heard many a times that basketball, football coaches, like, their recruiting life is crazy, and it pretty much is year round. They are year round trying to find these athletes to build their teams, and then they have practices and games and all of that kind of thing. And Wendy kept saying, you know, so your husband can't take off, he can't take a day off. Wendy, you don't know what you're talking about. The answer is no. The answer is no. So move on. And I appreciated that Chris was there to kind of like back Robin up. And just that he was an extra voice to say that what Robin was saying was actually true, and she wasn't just making up an excuse for why Juan wasn't there. Anyways, so Mama Dot calls, and I'd just be so annoyed with that lady. Like, she just seems oblivious to everything that's going on. And so many months would have passed between the time that they had the video shoot and the time that they shot the reunion. And it really kind of saddened me to see that after we saw that tearful display of Candace in the first episode, or the first part of the reunion, that all this time her mother still had not apologized to Chris. And it didn't sound like this woman had given apologizing to him any thought. Like, it wasn't even at the forefront of her mind. How? Like, you, even if you didn't know it hurt Candace, you know you were on TV. She saw the episode, because I'm sure she watched it and enjoyed it and loved seeing herself on TV. But you saw the episode and you know that you made this man look bad. Why would you not have contacted him to apologize? That, she's embarrassing. I'm sorry. Candace gonna come at my neck, but I doubt she watched my little channel, so I'm safe. Anyways, so the men are out there, and G was kind of put in the hot seat about his behavior. And I loved that as soon as Andy asked him what he thought of it, he's like, listen, I watched it back. My intention wasn't to be rude or hurt anybody's feelings, and I did, and I'm sorry. Like, I can appreciate that. G, you know you are a mess when you drunk. And so when you sober, you gotta apologize instead of trying to deny it or make it Ashley's fault or whatever. So I really appreciated that. And Ashley was like, well, shit. Like, she was completely like caught off guard because they're not used to people actually owning their crap. And so also while they were out there and they were on that subject, Ashley was saying that Michael had never been overtly sexual towards anybody in this crew. And it's like, Ashley, where have you been? Like, there's so much footage. Like, Michael literally grabbed the man's butt standing right in front of you dancing. That is overtly sexual. But Michael said that he was going to once. And she just laughed and she said, well, was Juan offended? Ma'am, you should be offended. Oh my God. The denial, though. Like, I wonder, y'all gonna eat me up for saying this, but I wonder if she sees a difference because G is black. Like, I know that Ashley is half black, but I wonder if she feels like Michael's behavior is acceptable because he's hers or because she doesn't see white men and black men the same. I can't help but to wonder that because I don't see the difference. I don't see G as being any worse than Michael. At least G quickly and immediately apologized. So they talk about Chris managing Candace's career. He said he doesn't really manage her career and that really all he does is connect the dots, basically. So she's not able to be up all night answering calls or up during the day answering calls and emails and things like that. And he's making sure those things are getting taken care of. That's obviously not the way they demonstrated it during the season. So I don't know the change. I don't know why things have changed in the way they're reporting it now, but that's definitely not the way they portrayed it. So someone asked about, oh, and then Chris said that he never quit his job and that Dot doesn't know anything about his financial status, so he doesn't know why she's talking out like that. So they're talking to Mia about the lies that she put on Twitter, talking about Chris wanted to toss her salad or whatever like that. I appreciate that Mia said she immediately took it down and apologized or whatever, but that was a foul thing. Like, don't play like that. I don't know why the hell you thought that was okay. That should never, ever have been a thing. But while they're talking about that, Wendy jumps in and just starts going crazy talking about it's weird to me that as a married woman, you care about eye contact. Girl, what is you talking about? What? And so she's like, I don't care about making eye contact with anybody but Eddie because I am Mrs. Osefo and blah, 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 blah. Girl, what? Why are you yet again just doing too much? Like, you just always on 10. First of all, I am married and I do appreciate eye contact when I'm in conversation, whether it's my husband, my coworker, a friend, a buddy, someone who I just met. I don't know why the hell you think that married women don't appreciate eye contact. But here's the thing. When Mia made that statement about Eddie couldn't make eye contact with her, because she didn't say he didn't, she said he couldn't. Her whole point, in case you missed it, Wendy, is that sometimes when someone is attracted to someone, they begin to feel a little butterflies, they feel a little bit shy, and they're not able to make eye contact. And sometimes when they are attracted to certain features, their eyes will stay there instead of making eye contact. So I hope that clears it up for you. So as a married woman, when she meets your husband, yes, she should expect for him to make eye contact. But I digress. Anyway, oh, and then Candace had to like wheel Mia in. She's like, don't give her no more. Don't give her no more. Y'all two, just stop. Anyways, so they talked to Eddie about the rumors, and of course he didn't like it happening for his kids. And Andy asked Giselle if she wanted to say anything else about it, and she basically said no. And I was really disappointed in that, because even if you continually said you didn't believe the rumors, you know, lady, that bringing this up on the show could be damaging. And so I feel like Eddie hasn't done anything wrong to you. You could have given an apology. You could have just reiterated that my intent was not to harm this family. I'm sorry that it came out that way. Like something. But to just say no, like you've done nothing wrong. I appreciate that. Not at all. So I loved that when they talked about Karen being the ambassador to Surrey County, and she was saying that they got them Wi-Fi and things like that. And she's proud of Surrey County, which I really, really do appreciate. I loved that someone asked why Ray made her promote her candle at the at her induction or whatever ceremony. And I remember asking that too. Like, it seemed weird. It seemed like planted. Like, we never really hear Ray being vocal like that. But then when Ray spoke up about it, you could tell that that's actually his lane. Like, he's like, nah, me and my wife, we're going to promote this business. And I love that. I thought it was wonderful. So then Chris chimes in and he's like, well, what's the difference between what Ray is doing and what I do? And Giselle summed it up very, very precisely and just said, you know, we know that Ray had been carrying Karen. Ray had been taking care of Karen for a number of years, and now he's supporting her, whereas we don't know that about Chris. And so Chris is like visibly upset because he does feel like people are dragging him and making him look like he's nobody, making him look like he's, you know, just kind of like a bump on the log. But the thing that sticks out in my head the most about this is I never hear Candace shut down the rumors. Now, you'll make sure that it's on camera that Michael is at some bar. You'll make sure that it's on camera that this is happening in this relationship and all of that. You'll make sure you go on camera and tell Ashley her and her breast milk need to go or whatever. But I can't remember a time where Candace went on camera and made it clear that my husband is not a lame. Like, I would love to see her sit down with Mama Dot and be like, listen, stop this. because Chris takes care of his business. You know, I would love to see her interrupt the ladies and be like, no. At the table, they're talking and Giselle is saying that. I feel like that's riding her coattails. Why is Candace like, no, y'all got it twisted? Like, there's no way I'm letting people run away with a narrative about my husband that's wrong for years. This has been going on for years. I've never once seen Candace definitively lay it to rest. Why? I'm so confused. I don't get it. Anyways, so Chris is all upset about the way people perceive him. He's pouring his heart out, and Andy's like, back to Surrey County. So Andy done already shaded Wendy about her giant text message. He told her that wasn't the evidence or whatever he said. He done already shaded her about her manila folder with the loose leaf and told her that it was not a binder. Like, we came from binders and now we down here. And then he sat up there and just completely ignored Chris and was like, back to Surrey County. I lost it. That was the best part of the entire third part of the reunion for me, because I'm probably a little childish. Anyways, that's all the notes I really took. I think it's going to be interesting when Nikki comes on. I hope that she doesn't hold back, which it sounds like she's not going to. And it's just, you know, I'm hoping that it's going to be what we've been waiting for, because this episode was kind of boring. Oh, I did love the fact that Andy asked Eddie, does he get that he looks like Idris Elba all the time? And Eddie said yes. And I sat there a few minutes trying to determine if Eddie is joking. I'm assuming that if people are saying that to him, they're not black. That's the most I can assume, because I get crazy stuff. I used to get Beyonce all the time. I know I don't look like Beyonce. Who's the other one I get? I get Layla Hathaway, things like that. People who I know I don't look like, but people who don't look like us tend to just kind of lump us. Anyways, that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.